The MillenniYell podcast provides a louder voice to the truths and issues that all generations face, sometimes alone, and the why. But together with millennial self-improvement junkies, Billy and myself, Mel, we can all be the change to overcome life's ups and downs through conversation and connection. Let's MillenniYell together.
Hey, what is going on, guys? It is another episode of MillenniYell with Billy and Mel.
I can only do one side. I gotta hold my phone.
If you haven't noticed, Mel is on site somewhere
On the road.
recording live. Mel is on
Cornerstone Coffee House, Camp Hill.
She is on the scene. But we're really excited about today's show. It's a really interesting topic, especially because we're going into the weekend. So this will be a really interesting kind of thing to talk about. But before we get into that, guys, we appreciate everybody that jumps on, comments like this, and just hangs out with us. We really do appreciate it, guys. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is the rise of sober living, why drinking isn't cool anymore.
Oh.
And so before we get into all that, Mel, what are you doing? What's going on?
I have back to back appointments and meetings today, and I grouped them from as far out from Hershey and then making my way back in the evening. So I had an appointment this morning. I had 2 appointments this morning and a meeting here. And then I have a meeting at one of my clients in Harrisburg, and then 2 meetings in Harrisburg, and then I'll make my way back. So it's a busy day, but it's exciting. It was supposed to be 60s, but like sunny. So I thought it would be good to get out, but great week. Lots of progress, and a couple events this weekend I'm going to that I'm really excited about. So all in all, positive. What about you?
Yeah, today's been a different day for me. For the simple fact we're at the last day of the quarter, and it's today has been like a really reflective time for me, just to see where I've come from the beginning of the year towards today. And some goals I hit, some goals I didn't. And so I'm just asking myself that question. Hey, what do I want the next 3 months to look like? Mm-hmm. What do I want the next 6 months to look like? And what do I want the end of the year to look like?
Nice.
And so that's what I'm working on today. I actually did an exercise for the first time ever, because we talk about it. We talk about values and stuff like that. And mm-hmm. I've never written down my values before. And so that's what I did today. I wrote down, I took a list of 100 values, and I condensed them to 10.
Wow. So I did that in Leadership Harrisburg. So I love that.
Yeah. So I'll have to post those later for everybody so they can see. But it was really eye-opening experience.
Very good.
But that kind of goes into line with what we're going to be talking about today. And Mel, actually, if you look in the description of this podcast, basically this is about an article that she sent. And we do that very often. We'll send each other articles or something along those lines. We're like, hey, this would be a really interesting topic, right? And so, since coming out of 75 hard for me, right, and not having to drink, it was funny. I went from drinking every day in December to not drinking for 75 days straight.
I thought this would be a good topic for you as well.
So, and for me, like being a beer drinker, I do love craft beer. But it was just a really interesting article. So tell me, or tell the audience, I guess, because I know why you sent it to me, but tell why you sent that article.
So I sent the article. It's funny. I put my little tagline here that we're now starting to do some of them as casual drinker, but because I think I've really changed my drinking habits over the last year or two significantly, that I'm finding myself more and more not drinking at all, even the whole week and the weekend. There was times where I went like 2 weeks and I didn't drink at all. I'm just not having like the urge to actually drink. Now I want to socialize. I want to go out. But I'm not doing the party and going out to like the night scene anymore. And when I do that, like the St. Patrick's Day weekend, it was like I was on vacation. I mean, I really felt like I was, like wild 21 again. But I've really cut down my socializing, but also my drinking and like the quantity. And I feel like I could not drink. I could actually go and not drink if I really, if I really didn't want to. It's not a problem. I'm just not as interested. And I found myself that um, the connection and the conversation is more important to me. So I prefer more like having a glass of wine or an old fashioned now, and just like drinking over like one or two glasses over a conversation versus outraging, and it's funny, I have a friend that just stopped drinking a year ago. He's just lost a ton of weight. And it's just more clarity to focus on the things that we really need to focus on, and our own health, mental health. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going through it, like just thinking how I feel so much better, and I get more stuff done, and I think I feel better physically, but like mentally I just feel so much better, really cutting that back. And I saw the article, it just popped up, and I thought maybe we should talk about this. I wanted to see what your thoughts were going through your 75 hard of not drinking, and if you've seen other people. We know that our mentors and a lot of people that we follow don't drink. They kind of encourage no drinking, as far as a distraction. So I thought, yeah, why not see what else other people are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because, like, looking back in my 20s and even my very, very early 30s, because I'm on the back end of my 30s now, right? I'm past 35.
The
So
downslope to
the,
40.
the down slope to 40. So, and I just look back at all the times, like, no, I'm not going to take and sit here and be like, oh, like I am like regretting those times in my 20s,
Right.
right? Like obviously that's where I am
I mean,
today
I was
is
out like 5 days a week.
yeah. But I just think about like you said something really important, that connection over maybe like that type of experience
Hmm.
of blacking out, being drunk,
Right.
raging.
Shots,
And
and
I feel like the
it's like,
millennial
yeah.
generation, like
Hmm.
I feel like our parents were probably more like they were like casual drinkers in the sense of like it wasn't like party. It was like everybody
Hmm.
come over to the house. Like I remember growing up and like having like multiple like families at the house, and the parents, kids would go play and they would
Hmm.
drink. And I feel like our generation was like, hey, we're going out, right? It was
Right.
such a big like thing to go out. It was the pre-gaming, right?
Hmm.
It was getting ready.
Hmm.
It was almost a pre-party before the party,
It was, yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think about those times, and I'm just like what did I just think about those times, like what did I miss, and
Yeah. I mean,
missing those connections with.
right. And that's where I'm at now, is like I really enjoy the connection conversation more than like just like what are you doing? You're dancing, you're listening to music, you're singing, you're laughing, you're having somewhat of a conversation potentially, but like what are you really getting out of it? Like I look at our time is very valuable, and what are we getting out of going and getting drunk and drinking? And obviously we know alcohol is toxic, but at the end of the day, it's like I would rather it be an activity while I'm like it's an activity for people to just drink and party, and whether you're playing games or I love to tailgate and I love all that, but what are you getting out of it? Like I always want to have some type of still like a learning experience at some point. I want to like have feel good about myself mentally, spiritually, financially, whatever, like. And I found that I wasn't getting that out of just going out to drink, and then like, oh, and these people are like shots and this, it's like I don't really need that. But now I'm like, I don't really want it. Like before I was like, no, I'm good. But like, I'm like, now I'm kind of contemplating when I'm out, I don't need it. I could just have a couple, drinks, or just one or none. But I think that I had a conversation with somebody recently about it being an escape. Right now in our lives, especially there's things with work and with relationships. If you're going through a divorce, or maybe you're even just with children, or death in your family, or a job loss, that we've used alcohol as an escape, but people are using it where they're numbing themselves, and we've known this forever, right? I mean, I just think that now that we're aware of what we do to do that, to distract ourselves, it's just becoming more aware to the people who are becoming more self-aware, and that other people are doing it as a distraction and an escape. And I had that conversation with somebody, like, looking around, I'm like, you don't belong here at this bar, like this party scene, like, you're better than this. And it really resonated with him, because he's like, you're right, I think it's an escape. I come here, I'm like, but these aren't your people either, like, these aren't your people. So, what do you think about it being like an escape? I mean, that could be any age, at any point in our lives. Were we doing that in our 20s, like, to be like not responsible adults, like, not to like move on to, we just kept party. Like, what do you think?
I think that's a really interesting kind of just thought. Like, I think we were like, and we were so forced to just like follow the norm that, like, when we finally got taste of freedom, it was just like we didn't know what to do with it, and so we did use that as a crutch, right? Because the norm that we had was gone, because now we're out on our own. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people use it as a crutch for everything, right? They deal with stress that way. They deal with, I mean, just think about it. You're stressed out, you drink. You're happy,
Well,
you
if that's your
drink.
coping if that is like your coping mechanism, then
But I'm
yes.
saying,
I'm not a stress drinker. Like, I have wine at my house. I have alcohol. I have tequila. I have everything. I have not touched. I don't drink alone, and I'm not a stress drinker. But I have friends that are like, oh, I need a drink. Oh, I really, this week was so like, we need to drink. We need to drink, like, to unwind. But do we?
no, we don't. We don't. But there are people that do. Like, they're like, oh man, I've had a really rough week. I need a beer, right? I need to take the edge off, right? But then there's people too. Like, the same person will be like, well, we're celebrating, so what do we need to do? We need to drink, right? And
Right.
so it's like I think too, like, in society, like, had played a huge role in it, because, like, think about it, when we were kids, like, that's all we ever heard about. Like, in music, it was, they talked about getting drunk and getting wasted,
And the
right? Even,
club.
yeah, and like, getting drunk in the club. And then think about like movies and stuff like that. Like, it was
Right.
always like, I remember it was always about like movies about like people in high school that would like go to parties and get drunk and
Right.
stuff
And in
like that.
college, like, frat parties.
Yeah,
And
frat parties. And like, I mean, they have a movie, whole series of movie called The Hangover. Like,
Right.
And
Right.
so it's just crazy. I think society played a major role in us being like, oh, well, this is the social norm. This is what I need
Right.
to do to fit in. I need to drink, and I need to drink to, and I mean, like, I don't remember ever seeing my parents or people a little bit older than me playing a lot of drinking games. I do remember a lot of millennials and even generations younger than us playing drinking games, like playing beer pong, playing like, so not only are you making it like a social norm, but now we're like incentivizing drinking.
And competing and making it like a game. Yeah.
Yeah, like people would have beer
Yeah.
Olympics,
Yeah. Yeah. I
like,
mean, but I guess the other thing is, like, the idea with the society, also, it's like, you know, it's part of that. Is it almost part of, it's going to start raining. It's raining. I'm outside, on the tent. But is it almost part of like that whole thing that we talk about, materialism and consumerism, with like the Valentine's Day and the Hallmark and all this, that like the media gets you to buy into all these holidays, like, where there's people who never drank. There was a girl on a podcast. Her parents never drank at all. There was no alcohol in the house. She went out to college, or when she was 21, and she didn't drink. She didn't know what to drink, how to drink, what was a lot, what was a little, what drinks were this. And she became an alcoholic, no lie, when her parents were, because they usually say that it's like, learned or generation or genetic, or just because you're around it. And she actually, it was just on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and it was because she abused it because she didn't know anything about it. So there's also like different points of when we're around it a lot. And I think that it's like what, it's almost like abused. The norm is abuse. Let's be honest. The norm, because really, if you can go out and have one or two drinks and you can't drive legally after more than that. I know, because I had those little pocket breathalyzers that we would do for fun, see where what the limit was. And I could have 2 blue moons and be 0.06, and anything more than that would be over, and it goes up after you leave anyway.
Yeah.
So anything, knowing if I had more than one, this is in my 20s, I don't even drink, that much beer, that much anymore, but we all know how much everyone's drinking at the bar, and then they're driving. So we all know that they're legally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like everyone knows, and then the servers are serving them. So it's like everyone knows. It's just become this norm. But I look at it more on how it's affecting me from achieving my goals.
Yeah. 100%.
And when I look at, it's not just the social, I just want to have these conversations with people that I really care about, and really deep connections. And, I'd rather sit and sip on drinks versus, but again, I want to do the party thing when it's on my vacation. I'm not anti that, but I also am usually the one that drinks the least out of the group that I'm with.
Well, there's a time and place.
But I've always done that. I've always done that, or tried, at least, because I have had my business this whole time. In my 20s, I just was very conscious about my reputation and being out and not being sloppy. Were there times? Yeah, sure. But I mean, for the most part, the happy hours and all those things. But I do think that I've realized lately that the less that I drink, the more that I can get done and achieve my goals and productivity just with work, but then also how I feel about my body and physically. So I just feel like it's that point where you say, it's I stopped tanning in tanning beds because it was causing cancer. And in our 20s, we thought it was cool. Just talking to my friend about it. And she's like, we used to tan all the time. I'm like, yeah, until you realize it causes skin cancer. And at 25 years old, I was like, I'm never tanning, again. So it's this point that you hit. I think that you feel like, I don't really need it. But it's also I kind of have felt it's caused more, not harm, but it's not doing anything for me anymore how it used to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, ever since doing 75 hard and not drinking, the first 2 weeks, I was like, oh man, I would really love to have a beer. But then by the time the end was rolling around, I would be hanging out with people and they would be drinking, and I'd just be drinking water or a soda or something along those lines. And it really has impacted my, just like you were saying, just really changed the way I think about things. It has freed up. I feel like it's freed up space in my brain because it's just I found
because it's toxic. It does it is right. I mean, I don't want to say drugs kills brain cells, but alcohol is a drug and it's toxic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a poison that you put into your body, right? What you're essentially doing is overloading your system to a point where you're not able to make decisions properly. Your organs are misfiring. It's bad. You drink too much and it's alcohol poisoning, right? You could die from it.
I mean, yeah.
So it is.
But you're feeling better, cognitively.
But you change. There's a guy, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look him up, but I see him all over the place with podcasts, and alcohol changes the chemical makeup in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you think
Yep.
about, like, and I know this from personal experience, like from a family member, like if you drink for a really, really, really long time and a lot of it, and then you cut it off, like your your ability to think is diminished,
Right.
like
Because you relied on the
because you
alcohol.
relied on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it changes the way you think. And so, like, going back to, like, how has it impacted me, like I don't think I'm ever going back to the way I used to drink.
I will tell you, there's no reason
uh
to.
the only way I will drink is, I kind of made, not I'm not drinking during the week, just not going to do it. And like unless I'm on vacation, then that's a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
story, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's time and place for that. You're not actively
Mm-hmm.
working. You're not. You're
Right.
relaxing vacation, um, and just randomly drinking, like
Mm-hmm.
just to drink, like
Mm-hmm.
I think that's out the window. Really, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's just it's like you were saying. It's like, what's important. What are
Right.
my goals? My business are more important than having a beer.
Right. And I think that that's what's happening for me is it's not doing any good, like anything that's great other than like those moments of sharing. For me right now, what it feels like is like sharing a glass of wine, espresso martini with my, like girlfriends here and there, but like an old fashioned, like I feel like the experience is just so different. Like it's obviously more mature, but I find that a lot of the other people, like it's not excessive that I hang out with because no one's like, oh, let's do shots and let's do like it's about who you hang out with too. It's a lifestyle and it's
That
about
is
who you
true.
surround yourself with because I was surrounding myself with those type of people in downtown Hershey and at the younger crowd and I was going to Primanti Brothers and there's dancing and there's DJ and there's shots and it's like it's funny, haha, but for what? And that was 2 years ago and I kept saying this is silly. Like, why am I doing this? I mean, I'm not 21 anymore. And it's like, yeah, it's like for so long we can do that. You kind of have that rite of passage of like party phase. But it wasn't doing anything for me. And I really do feel that it was holding me back from, getting work done the next day, feeling good the next day. Obviously our bodies are getting older where we can't get over I don't get hangovers, but I feel tired. Like I don't get sick. But yeah, I just feel like that whole like idea of self-discipline to say like I don't need this. It's almost like when you're like compulsive, like shopping, like spending. Like people that are, at TJ Maxx, I used to be at TJ Maxx, they'd be like, "Oh, I need to get this and I could use this and maybe I'll give this to somebody." And like $200 later, I've got this cart full of stuff that I don't need, And like that was years ago. It was like filling a void. It was like that retail therapy. And I'm like, I don't need this shit. Right. And like I stopped doing that years ago. So like maybe it's just phases of our life that we're like, I don't need this to fill the void of feeling love or feeling worthy or feeling full. Right. Like now we're like getting full of other things that are fulfilling us. And we're feeling like, nah, we don't need that to make
Yeah.
us feel that way anymore. And I know that there are a lot of people that do. And I struggle with that with people in my life as well. And that's on, everyone individually figuring out, what is their coping mechanism. And it's like drugs. I mean, they say alcohol, here's what's funny. Alcohol is the only drug that people push on people like normalize, like where they're like, come on, man, drink, or hey, let's have a drink, or oh, a shot, oh, you're this, or make fun of you, oh, what are you, a baby, oh, you don't want to drink, and all this, like, whereas anything else you want to like, oh, do you want, cocaine or weed or this? No, I don't do drugs. Like, no, I don't, like, let's say you say, no, I'm good. No, I don't. People don't keep harping usually on when you say no to drugs, but they say that with alcohol, it's the only
Yeah.
one that people push and push and push. They're like, oh, come on. And why aren't you drinking? And why they don't understand why people just don't want to drink. Because you're right. It's become such a social norm, but it is a drug. And I think that, it case in point, people get addicted to it and the feelings
Yeah.
that it gives you. And maybe it is an escape. It to most people, I think it is an escape. It's not they can't drink responsibly.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I think that's the biggest shift for me because, like, I'll be honest, like, the day or two after we got done with 75 hard, like, we did go hang out with a couple people, and I did have a couple of drinks, and I just remember waking up and just being like, man, like, I never want to do that again.
You
Like,
were
the like,
feeling it.
yeah, and I was just like, what was the purpose? Like, yes, we had fun, but,
Right.
like, at the end of the day, like, I don't want to do that anymore. And it wasn't like how you used to be, like when you would drink too much and you just be like, oh, I'm not going to do that ever again. You make that joke, and then like the next
Right.
weekend you're doing it. It's just like,
Right.
that there's just no need for it anymore in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
life. And
I've had that a couple times. Yeah.
and I feel like people don't know how to effectively have with each other as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever feel that could be a thing as well?
Yes, I think that people have a couple drinks to feel secure, comfortable, not tense, like mellow their anxiety, like in any type of a state or wherever they're like, conversation, or they like have a couple drinks, they feel like, okay, they're at a level that they can feel comfortable. But then I feel in conversation or in things that people absolutely um, they open up more. You know what I mean? Like alcohol, like gets
Like a
people
networking event.
more
Like how many
flirt. I mean,
networking
yeah, it
events
gets
have you
people
been
more
to?
talking. People that
Yeah.
are shy. I mean, thousands, but it's like, how many times that people are shy, that they have a drink or two, and all of a sudden they're like, they won't shut up, right? And then you're like, whoa, it's like two different sides of you, because alcohol brings that out. It, you know, it somehow triggers something that, your fears, or, like, whatever. But I also think that, while it does that for the moment, it's also just a band-aid, and like having these hard conversations with people, like, so you need to get drunk, or you need to be like tipsy, or you need to have a couple drinks to like be able to like have a conversation with your spouse or your friend or your parent or your daughter. You know what I mean? It's like that shouldn't be that way, that you need a substance to do that. And then,
Yeah.
I always say, because it says tequila, when I started drinking tequila 2 years ago for my best friend's bachelorette in Cartagena, everyone knows I didn't drink tequila for 15 years. And I had a really bad experience when I was 21. And I just really enjoy the really smooth tequila, but it is the only alcohol that is an upper, that actually gives you energy. And every other alcohol is a downer. And we know this. It's why it makes you tired. It's why you get, you can't walk. Like, obviously I'm like exaggerating, but it brings you down. So the tequila is funny, because I can drink 2 tequila. Like, it doesn't do anything for me because of my energy. Like, I already have so much energy that it's like, I'm good. Like, I had to, like, I'm fine. But I can tell when there's other, you can almost tell when your body, but it's absolutely changing the state of your personality at some times for people who,
Mm-hmm.
they like open up, and it's like, I don't want to have to like have somebody that drinks has to, get drunk to like have a like an intimate conversation either. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, that's when, and then they say like the truth comes out, when you're drinking, or when you're drunk, like that's when
Well,
it's like,
yeah, it reduces
like,
all the inhibitions, right?
right,
There's no filter, right? The filter is now off.
right.
And you're just going to say whatever comes to your mind, and people get in trouble with all that. And
Well,
saying
yeah,
that.
but I've learned to kind of be able to speak, try to be as honest and just transparent, and voice how I feel, up front. I mean, sure, when I have a couple drinks, it's like, I don't know how much difference things are for me. I don't think that more comes out. I think that I'm already that way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Like,
No, I totally get it.
like
But
it's me, with or without.
yeah. 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 I would always get really, when you knew Billy had too much, like I would get, if I got really quiet, like then you'd know something's bad.
Well, it's
Like that
also
would be,
like people have triggers of with violence, you know? I mean, there's
yeah.
certain alcohols. There are people, there's guys that I know that were like, oh, don't give me tequila or don't give me whiskey. Like that they get very angry on it. It's like something that's in the, I don't know. I haven't studied it, but it's like, there's also things that people that your trigger, you're in the back of your subconscious, which I know because I know sometimes just during the day or somebody says something that is a trigger to me. I remember that times that I was drinking, I would be like, now, you know, and like you kind of flip into like a not a rage, but you're like you get really angry and it's this trigger that happens, but you are not going to be able to decipher and really process what is going on in your head in that trigger moment as to
Yep.
why you're doing that, which is why also like I want to be able to be like fully in control. And I always, you know, with not doing drugs and things, that it's like I don't want to not have control of my body.
Yeah.
So I think that with that, you know, with the alcohol level, it's like, um, you know, there's things that will come out that we don't have control over sometimes in our bodies because it's there deep back, you know, and alcohol can bring that up. So
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, I think it was great. I'm curious to see what other people, I'd love to hear people's comments. And like, I have other friends that are like, yeah, no, I'm not really, you know, drinking that much, or like here and there, we might meet for coffee now versus a glass
That's what
of
the
wine.
people that's what they said that people are replacing it with, is doing day dates and having coffee dates and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they're just replacing one drug for the other, not replacing alcohol for caffeine.
True.
So, but anyways, I think that's kind of a good spot to end today's show. I know we could talk more and more about this, and we should definitely. I would like to bring on like an expert and talk about,
Yeah.
you know, how this affects, you know, people and generations and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I think that'd be really interesting to kind of have that
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, yeah, and they have there. I know that some of, like I said, some of the podcasts that I follow, like the people, they don't drink and they actually say like stop drinking it. I think they mean like excessively and like partying and everything, but they're really into plant medicine and like mushrooms, and that could be a whole other topic because I know a lot of friends that are interested in that because it like opens up things in your mind that
people like microdosing or something like that.
microdosing, but then the plant medicine, which is like you know, I can't think of the name, ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting hot topic right now.
Yeah, that really
that's
is
going on.
I've seen a lot of podcasts talk about that, and like yeah, so people going on trips. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a control freak. I can't. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. So, but anyways, at the end of the show, what we like to do is pop up two things for people, for you guys. If you're first time watcher or first time listener, we have two things, and the first one we like to do is the millennial meme of the week.
Oh, that's so good. Billy does such a good job.
So. Since Mel is on the road, I'm doing the meme of the week. I don't even know who did the meme of the week last week.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
So you double up this week. I'll get two for next week, like I usually do, and then we'll be even. and then we'll be even.
See, that's how it works, guys. It's a great relationship. So, here is my meme of the week, and it is a survey. Millennials spend $300 a month on alcohol, and it's a picture of shots being poured. You always know the party's taking a different direction when the shots come out. Like it's officially bad. And then it's people from the office, and it says, "Are you kidding me? That's insultingly low." So I can definitely remember spending, $250 a night at the bar.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
easily.
as females, we generously get, drinks here and there, which I will never complain. But I know men, it gets very pricey. So
yes. So, but one other thing we'd like to do before we end the show is Mel likes to share a little bit of extra information with us, and that is called Mel's Moment.
Yeah, and I'm going to be real quick. I'm just going to say, do you, because, if there's we know what peer pressure is, and it still happens these days, and bullying. But if you're at a place in your life where you really want to focus on, your mental health, your physical health, your relationship, we want to 10x things. This might be something that you can step away from some of the people that you're hanging out with that are partying too much, or the places that you go that is just constantly party scene shots. We all know the bars that they are, okay? And if we're going out by ourselves looking for an escape, sometimes there's another outlet that we can search for, and it's talking with friends and support and whatnot. But I think that if I think we don't need to be excessively drinking if we're working on our goals. And I think that hopefully people can start to resonate with that a little bit and feel okay that they can say no, that they want to pursue other things than that, and we're here for it.
Love it. I love it. So, I always say at the end of the show is go make some good memories. And the only way you can make good memories is if you remember them. So there you go. So
no blacking out this weekend.
There you go. So my words of advice for this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. If you did, let us know in the comment section. But we will see you next week. Another episode of MillenniYell on Friday at 2:00. So make sure you tune in for that. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.